With the entire field of pro stockers separated by just 0.12 of a second, it's easy to understand why there's multiple winners inside of this category. But that's not the only category here today. We'll also see alcohol, funny car, and pro mod. It's all next on Speed. Oh man, here we go. Oh, huge hit right there.
That is good close drag racing right there.
What an incredible race. Welcome to the Noel Gas Motorsports Nitro GM Series. A lot of racing action coming your way here at the Emily North American Nationals, presented by the New England Dodge dealers at New England Dragway. Ken Stout with you. Brian Olson joins me here in the booth. And Julie Atchison will cover all the action down at trackside. Now, John Nobile is a former class champion, but has struggled at the start of the 07 season.
Well, most of the struggles have been luck. We haven't had any luck. You know, you got to make some luck up for yourself. We've qualified well at most of all the races we went to, except the one we D&Q'd at. We had a car problem. It was making right-hand turns, and I think for the first time in my life, I crossed the center line 3 times at the same race. Just luck, you know, just haven't had any luck. And then we broke a motor and got behind the 8th ball, and you know how that goes.
The category is tough. They'll see if they can be a contender here today, Brian.
One of the tougher guys in the category is the guy on the right side of your screen, Tricky Ricky Smith, multi-time world champion. And for him, this year has been nothing but tough.
It has, probably for me, you know. I mean, probably expected a lot more out of what I'm doing. And maybe a normal guy is probably a pretty good year, but myself, I thought I'd have won a race by now, but we're getting close. The tune-up on these big motors is so much finickier than the NHRA stuff. I mean, that's where I've been for so long, and the time and the fuel, I mean, it's running me crazy, but we're finally getting the hang of it. We're within 300 of the low qualifier here. We got a good chance of winning around here today. Me and Robert's been having a little battle, playing little games, having a lot of fun with it. There's no telling what's going to happen up our first round today.
Round number 1 will be interesting. You put that guy and Robert Patrick together. With our number 1 qualifier is Julie.
Former Pro Stock World Champion Brian Game owned the class in 02 and 03. He was the world champion. Last year he finished 10th in points. This year it's a comeback season for these guys. They ran the first pass ever to go into the 20s, into 6:29 in Grand Bend. Then they go to Martin. Brian, you guys did not qualify in Martin. What happened?
You have to bring that up. We just made a change when going into Martin. We'd set the record, and we had a different power plant under the bench that we were carrying that we thought was better, and evidently it is better. And we just missed it on the setup, and we didn't qualify. And we changed stuff out before we come here, and end result is we're back on top again. So, you know, like I told them before, they're going to have to knock me out before they get this motor out of the frame rails right now, I can tell you that.
All right, a big day for this team. There have been 6 different winners in the Pro Stock field. Brian is looking to be number 7 so far this season, but he's got a tough guy first round, John Montecalvo. Right now, though, we're going to head to performance picks from the pits.
Thank you very much, Julie. And I'm going to stick with that guy you were standing with. Former champion. There is no question that they have found something inside of that car. They're back on their game. I'm going with Brian Game.
Well, that is a very good call, but I'm going to go with the flying meatball, Frank Gugliotta. That's been a very consistent race car, and they've been able to adjust to the track conditions. Julie, your pick.
My pick for Pro Stock is Brian Game. These guys have really got their program together. They've got that combination figured out, and man, these guys are flying.
Hi guys, I'm Brent Hickman, crew member from Mark Thomas's Ethanol Performance Monte Carlo. My pick for Pro Stock is Robert Patrick. The man's making some killer power, and he's been in this position before many times.
A legitimate pick right there, man. Hard to go against that one as well.
Here's Kerry Goforth and Dean Goforth as we highlight round number 1. Father and son get matched up here.
Third time these two have matched up this season. And the win will go to Kerry Goforth this time, 6:38.219.
John Nobile nears the camera. Bob Birch alongside. Nobile, Mountain View Tire, California, Nobile Trucking. Great drag race right here to the stripe. 6:35 Nobile, 6:36 Bob Birch. Nobile to round number 2.
Robert Patrick in the near lane. He'll line up alongside Tricky Ricky Smith in the far lane. No annex. Oh, looking forward to a little head game there at the starting line. Side-by-side action, but Ricky Smith will have nothing for Robert Patrick here today, 6:39 with an 0:39 reaction time. Both guys doing a great job, by the way, at the starting line. And we'll pick up the action here with round number 2.
There's Anthony Peon's machine. He qualified on the bump spot, got past Steve Spiess in round number 1. We'll take on Rob Mansfield here. Mansfield, your number 4 qualifier, has the advantage. Here's our weather conditions. 86 degrees, track temp at 120. Very little humidity, good barometer, adjusted altitude a little bit over 2,000 feet of air.
Mansfield a little off the pace in round 1. Oh, and Peon gives him one right here way early, then goes over towards the wall. A free shot down the quarter mile goes to Rob Mansfield. 6:43, actually picks up a 1/10 of a second.
His car was a little bit squirrely there in round number 1. So Mansfield picks one up here as Kerry Goforth. Now we'll take on Frank Gugliotta, my pick from the pits. Meanwhile, let's go to the top end and talk to Rob.
Well, Rob, it's been since Tulsa, since you've been past round 1. You guys have been struggling, but you're pulling it back here again today.
Yeah, we've definitely had our struggles this year, but we're pulling it together. Our team's working really hard, and we had a tough first round. We had some problems again, and got through it, and we're just going to keep plugging away today. The team's doing a great job, and real proud of the Wilson Manifolds crew. They're excellent today.
Great looking pair of cars coming up here next. Frank Gugliotta in the far lane, your pick obviously, and Frank Gugliotta will line up alongside Kerry Goforth. And the Flying Meatball on the side of the car, owned by Rick Jones, does a great job. 6:42 with an 0:55 light. Beats him on a hole shot. Next up, John Nobile had such good luck here a couple of years ago. Brought home his first career win. Will line up alongside Robert Patrick. Let's go to the top.
All right, Frank, you're coming off a win in Martin. That feeling is high for you and your team. And now today you're going to a semifinals, going rounds.
Going rounds. That's the name of the game out here, you know. They're getting harder and harder, too. This car hasn't been running real good today. We're having a couple little glitches. I'm sure the guys will work on it. I got a great team behind me. Piranha Z, Quartermax, Rick Jones Race Cars. Rick, the whole gang, doing a great job today. Hopefully we can go a couple more again today. Hey, thanks, guys.
Couple good-looking Mustang GTs, John Nobile, Robert Patrick.
And Nobile not quite enough. An 0:57 light, very good, but Robert Patrick 10,000ths quicker and then steals it from him.
As Brian Game gets set to go right here to take on Pete Bernie, you're exactly right. The margin of victory for your winner, Robert Patrick, 4/1000ths of a second.
All right, Robert Patrick with the win. You took that one on a hole shot. You did your job on the tree to pull it out.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a good run for our team. Like I said in our prior interviews, we've been changing a lot on this Purvis Ford Lincoln Mercury Mustang, and it hadn't been running the way we wanted to run in the back half, but we keep nibbling at it, and sooner or later we're going to get the tune-up fixed on it and be able to run with these guys. But, hey, if I can do my job, maybe we can steal a couple more rounds.
All right, the defending class champ in the far lane, Pete Berner, sitting next to the #1 qualifier, Brian Game, who ran 2:21.27. We could see a new mile-per-hour record here if he has another one of those types of runs.
Just got to get that baby backed up.
Oh, yes, and that's exactly what we're talking about. 2:21.42 for Brian Game. Congratulations to him, and then has the quickest ET by 200ths of the round.
And I'll tell you what, if you would have taken a look at Pete Berner leave the start line, looked like he was out by 300ths. But either way it goes, Brian Game goes to the next round.
You just broke the world speed record, 2:21.42. Awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, to do it here in the heat, you know, we had pretty good conditions there last night, but to run the speed out here today, you know, that says a lot for John Causey and Jerry Haas and Games Car and Truck Parts for putting this thing on the racetrack. And I can't thank the guys back at home, you know, for letting me do this. And my hat's off to the crew. We got one more round to go.
And he says he has a stronger one underneath the shelf, but they're tinkering with the clutch, obviously. Robert Patrick, Rob Mansfield will go to the semifinals.
Frank Gugliotta, my pick, and Brian Game on the other side.